Race 2 of the weekend here at RICARD for the Blancpain GT Sports Club is about to get underway. 5 minutes to the start of the formation lap. The grid is being formed based on the times done in the second qualifying session, and it puts the Kessel Racing Ferrari Murat Sultanov on pole position with double winner from Monza, Jens Müller, with him at the front of the grid. We've had one lively race this morning that was won by Luigi Lucchini. Now he will start 5th on the grid for this race by dint of being slightly slower in the second qualifying session. But Jens Müller on pole missed out of a win. Jens Müller on the front row of the grid for this race missed out on a win by 2 seconds earlier on in the day, but he did have a spin while chasing the leader. So if you take the time lost out of the equation, by rights it should have been his race, and he'll want to fight back in this second 45-minute stanza. Pole position then, Murat Sultanov. He was tapped into a spin that led to retirement in race 1. The tapper was fellow Russian driver Pavel Strukov, and he also retired with damage, having served a drive-through penalty later in the race. So the field starting to form up, and when we get underway it'll be a 45-minute race, single driver race, no mandatory pit stops, and we had some good fights up and down the field earlier on in the day. All of these cars are the latest type of GT3 car. Initially the series was aimed at not only the AM driver but also those with older machinery, but inevitably when people want to win they go and invest in new machinery, and that's what we have in the case, for example, of the Honda NSX, which had its first ever win anywhere in the sports club races at Monza. The RICARD circuit then under a cloudless sky and a gentle breeze keeping the teams moderately cool. Shortly they'll get underway for the rolling start. David Addison trackside. There you see the 888 Robert Zwinger driven Lamborghini. That lines up 3rd on the grid. Robert Zwinger, who is racing this year also in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo. But it's good that this weekend we've had 22 on the entry list. Michael Broniszewski withdrew after qualifying, sadly, but it's still been a huge entry by recent standards of Sports Club, and it's been good to see, with now 3 minutes to go to the start before the cars are released. Coach McKenzie, damage in race 1, tapped into a spin by Vadim Kogai, and neither of them finished. As the Lamborghini was spinning, they managed to interlock rear wings, and that did for the Ferrari. So let's have a look at who we have got. Murat Sultanov will start on pole position in Ferrari 23, and lining up with him at the front of the grid is Jens Müller in the Renault Racing Honda. Robert Zwinger in the black Lamborghini there on the 2nd row of the grid has Coach McKenzie for company. And then if you go back a further row, you find the man that won the earlier race, namely Luigi Lucchini, and the Russian driver Denis Romanenko lining up alongside Romanenko in the Capital Racing Team Mercedes. Lee Mole made good progress in race 1. He will start on row 4 in the Mercedes alongside 333 Vadim Kogai. Next comes Mario Cordoni, who's been a multiple race winner in the past in this series, and then Pete Mitchell in number 84 Ferrari lining up alongside the man that races under a Swiss license. Next on the grid, Pavel Strukov, a long way back, so one to watch I think here, making progress, and then Louis-Philippe Cernan lining up alongside him. He was the Iron Cup winner earlier on in the day for the over 60s class. There's the Titanium Cup for the 50 to 59-year-olds. Ken Arbe and Steve Earle, double Iron Cup race winner this year, they share the next row of the grid ahead of Dylan Malagamua, the Sri Lankan, and Frederic Fangio with his Ferrari. Then you've got Gerard van der Horst with the Lamborghini, and Hardy Woodcock's Ferrari. He had a spin and then retired from race 1. Crichton Lendoudis is next with his Ferrari, and then it is Ben Kleinbach's Attempto Racing Lamborghini with Rick Lovett at the rear of the grid. So 21 cars we have ready to take the start, and it's good that we've got quite a few new faces coming into Blancpain GT Sports Club this weekend. So engines are all fired up, the grid being cleared. It will be a rolling start, of course, and that means that the cars will follow the pace car, as it effectively is, for the formation lap. And then if the race director is happy with everybody's position, then the race will get underway. So the last few mechanics scarper and go through the gap in the pit wall. The green flag says that pretty much everyone's off the grid, so the leading car blasts away, and now in pursuit go the race cars with Murat Sultanov from pole position then, leading them away. Sultanov very, very annoyed at being tapped out of what was 2nd place in the earlier race, so he was starting on pole position. Could be a possible winner here. He's less experienced driver than Jens Müller, who's raced in touring cars, in GT cars, in prototypes for many, many years. But Murat Sultanov certainly, I think, has got good pace. Grid a little bit untidy to get away, but everyone has got going now. Down towards turn 1. The Le Castellet circuit for the purposes of the sports club races, running the chicane with the north badge upon it. So they turn left at 8 and wriggle back right at 9 onto the Mistral Straight. So the chicane Nord is in operation for them. You'll see that in a moment or two once the cars go midway up the Mistral Straight. There is the run from turn 2, the green and white Ferrari at the back, Louis-Philippe Cernan, who won the Iron Cup in the earlier race. Louis-Philippe Cernan, who's been a mainstay of this series now for quite a few seasons. And the cars file their way through turn 4 down at the Virage du Camp now, turn 5. Speed building, but Saint-Baume, which loops you around towards the Mistral, is another slow, tight corner. It's a technical place, Paul Ricard, because there are lots of corners that have different lines around them. Increasingly, with low curbs, people are using those if they can. Race officials keeping an eye to it inevitably as Frédéric Fangio's Ferrari goes through there. And that will line up alongside the Delanthe Malagamua Lamborghini. Hardy Woodcock's Ferrari, another one to watch, number 69 from the Stila F Squadra Corsa. Squad with Ferrari Challenge experience, now coming into Sports Club. And so as the cars run up the Mistral Straight, rather than being foot nailed to the boards almost in perpetuity, halfway up the straight you have to brake, turn left, turn right, and then it's a more gentle left back onto the Mistral Straight. Speed building on the run up towards the fast right-hander of Senior. This circuit opened in 1970, for many, many years was devoid of race activity. It just became the Paul Ricard high-speed test track, and then a change of management started to open the doors again, but now it's a pretty busy circuit once more, not only for the likes of international car racing or historic racing or truck racing, but of course home now again to the French Grand Prix after many, many years away. So up to the top of the Mistral Straight they come. That iconic view of the cars on the straight, broken these days by the chicane, at least for the sports club races. And of course, Paul Ricard, like many, many circuits, and you can see it in the background, has lots of different configurations, so you can be running different activities on different parts of the circuit. Some of the drivers complain that the swirly blue and red paintwork, which is there with grip, a way of slowing the cars down, makes you actually seasick, especially during a long stint, because you're moving around, constantly turning left and right, and there's the swirly paint as well. It disorientates a little bit. It also can just affect the way you're feeling. But focusing on the job in hand, there are the two Mercedes going through. Lee Mole, who will line up alongside Denis Romanico. Out of Toulon they turn, and then up towards the left-hander of Ben D'Or. So now everyone starts to get themselves into the 2x2 formation, ready for the start of the race. And as they do so, it will be Jens Müller on the outside of the front row, eager into turn 1 to try and outbrake Murad Sultanov, use his extra experience to good effect as 53 turns through there, which is the Can Arbe Ferrari that had a spin in the first race, but Arbe actually had been doing a pretty decent job in the top 6 up to that point. He was able to carry on, albeit down in 8th spot. So they've all had a bit more track knowledge. They know roughly what the circuit's like. They only raced on it, what, really 3 hours ago, if that, I suppose. And Jens Müller kicking himself for his spin. Let's see now what he can do about potentially winning race 2 of the weekend. So the cars come up towards the lights on red at the moment. They will change any second as the field accelerates. It's a rather untidy start. Look, with Vadim Kogai there peeling out to one side to try to gain ground. Is he going to get past Denis Romanico? Yes, he is. So the Ferrari makes a good start in as much as it's gained places. Whether the officials like that, we'll have to wait and see, as Müller can't go around the outside of Sultanov down towards turn 1. The Ferrari hangs onto the place. Out wide there goes Pete Mitchell, and he's followed by Louis-Philippe Cernan as they come then out of turn 2. Other Ferraris go wide on the other side of the road. And down now towards turn 3 with off the road and back on again there. 51 Ferrari in the hands of Mario Cordoni. The leader is Murad Sultanov, and battles on for second place then, because Jens Müller doing his best to try to hang on to second and go after the leading car, but he's got Robert Svinga right up behind him in the HB Racing Lamborghini. Out of turn 5 they come at the bottom of the lap. Gerard van der Horst runs out wide there in the Lamborghini, and contact, and that's Louis-Philippe Cernan spinning, and people scatter left and right. But thankfully everyone gets through the melee, and Louis-Philippe Cernan should be able to rejoin And let's see what he can do to fight back. He's got 45 minutes in which to gain places as the race leaders now sprint up towards the chicane. And Jens Müller goes through, but he goes deep into the corner, goes off the road. And is he going to give back the place? Well, he forces Sultanov wide, and that means that Robert Svinger comes through and take over the advantage now. Svinger leads the way. Second is Müller. Sultanov really badly delayed in all of that, dropped back into 4th place. So Jens Müller dive bombed him, couldn't make the corner, and as he was veering one way and then the other to try to get around the final bit of the chicane, Murad Sultanov had to back right out of it in avoidance, and he's lost now not only the lead, not second, not third, he's down to 4th place. He's under attack from Cordoni, and then it's Romeniko in 6th place in the best of the Mercedes as they come through then for the first time. So you've got new race leader being Robert Svinger, and the Slovakian trying to get away, but Jens Müller is going after him. And then in 3rd place now, is that Coach McKenzie, in fact, that's come up rather than Vadim Koga? I think it is. It's Coach McKenzie's green Lamborghini that's making decent progress. Falling back, therefore, is Murad Sultanov. In 5th place now, Luigi Lucchini. So McKenzie having a better run, at the moment at least, than he did in the first race as the 2 leading cars then come out of the Virage Dupont absolutely nose to tail. There is the race 1 winner. Luigi Lucchini comes up towards the timing line with Denis Romeniko chasing after him. Through they come, another lap in the book, and it is, at the moment, Svinger from Müller by 0.4 of a second. 3rd, McKenzie. Sultanov is 4th, and he's on the attack. 5th is Luigi Lucchini. 6th is Denis Romeniko. 7th, then, Vadim Kogai. 8th is Lee Mole. 9th, Mario Cordoni. 10th, Pete Mitchell as they come across the line. Louis-Philippe Cernan, after his spin down at the foot of the order, with work to do, and in fact, he's got a lot of time to make up first as Müller now attacks Robert Svinger as they drop down through turn 4 now. So the Lamborghini leading the Honda, and Jens Müller, knowing that it's a long race really, 45 minutes for a sprint race, he can bide his time. If you think about 1 hour double driver races, you're getting longer here on your own than you do in that shared race. Yes, you can't split the cost necessarily, but you do get more mileage. Out of turn 6, Saint-Baume goes the Ferrari in the hands of Pete Mitchell. 10th, he's got Frédéric Fingiat behind him. Right, Müller's going to have another go here to see whether he can make it a successful dive up the inside. He'll have to brake late, and he does so, and he goes through, and he gets the lead, and that's how it should be done. That was tidier. And now that he's hit the front, Jens Müller, I fear, is going to be rather hard to stop, given the pace that he evinced at Monza and in the first race. Now, that's the man that, in theory, ought to be going after him, but Luigi Lucchini didn't qualify brilliantly for this, and from 5th on the grid has not yet made any progress. So, Lucchini trying to make amends. This is a replay of the start, and you see how they're all fanned out across the road. The race director, Alain Adom, does not normally like that, so whether he's going to let that stand or start to issue penalties for people for an incorrect start, an out-of-position start, we'll have to wait and see. Murad Sultanov then was the leader into turn 1. Others going off the road because they just couldn't find the track space. Road out of turn 1 just dipped slightly. This was what happened to Louis-Philippe Cernan. So was there a touch? If it was the gentlest, but Louis-Philippe Cernan was half up the curb, and the car swapped ends on him as around he went. Right, Robert Svinger then running in 2nd place. Look at the amount of time he's lost already to Jens Müller, the race leader, as Denis Romeniko comes up against Vadim Kogai, but Kogai goes through to 6th place, coming down towards the Virage Dupont this time. Jens Müller goes through. The demonstration drive that was expected in race 1 might now be coming. He goes through with already 3 seconds by way of a margin. Vadim Kogai losing out to Lee Mole as well, but to the inside line goes the Ferrari. Lee Mole fending him off. Denis Romeniko leading the Mercedes battle at the moment. The British driver Lee Mole behind him, having had now 2 Titanium Cup wins this year. The other one going the way of Coach McKenzie. This is only the 4th race of the season. 2 at Monza. They're all double headers across the course of the season, with Misano, Spa and Barcelona before the year's end. Coach McKenzie there hustles on. Now he's dropped back behind Luigi Lucchini, so Lucchini has gained 1 place up to 4th. What can he do now about the top 3? The next target is Murad Sultanov, but the problem is that while he's chipping away at those gaps, so the race leader Jens Müller is getting away all the time. All the different engine notes screen past up towards the chicane. Lee Mole to the inside of Romeniko. Vadim Kogai gets into the side of him. The 3 of them make contact. Romeniko comes out ahead of Lee Mole, but then goes wide. Mole's rather battered Mercedes, having burrowed its way up the middle, gets back on track just up ahead. And Romanico and Kogai are still battling amongst themselves, now being reeled in, look, by Mario Cordoni. But Limol had committed to his move. Vadim Kogai made a lunge up the inside as well. Romanico comes off worse, losing 2 places. Kogai goes up 1, Limol goes up 1 as well. And they're all being caught by Cordoni as they come out of senior there. Through Toulon this time. So the first race got 22 laps out of it. That's the target. Here's the replay. Look, Limol's already gone for the inside line, and Kogai, 2 wheels up the curb, virtually 4, gets into the side of Limol, who really has nowhere to go except into the side of Romanico. Romanico's car running wide out of the second element of the chicane, and that enables the car of Limol to secure the place. Vadim Kogai goes past as well, but that might well be looked at by the officials. So as the race leader Jens Müller is away and gone, it's game on for 2nd and 3rd and 4th places now. Robert Zwinger just ahead of Murad Sultanov, just ahead of Luigi Lucchini. Over the timing line once more, down towards turn 1. Now Robert Zwinger less experienced than Lucchini. Lucchini, before he can attack him, though, has got to find a way past the similar Ferrari of Murad Sultanov, the Scuderia Italia car of Luigi Lucchini on the back of the Kessel car of Sultanov. So the Russian driver hanging on the furthest Slovakian, Robert Zwinger in 2nd spot, and the leading gap's already 5.8 seconds. So unless he makes a mistake like he did in the first race, I think Jens Müller is pretty much secure up front now. Very experienced driver, very well prepared car. Sultanov, though, is giving energetic chase to Robert Zwinger. The Lamborghini ahead of the 2 Ferraris as they come from turn 7 now onto the Mistral straight, with the leading car getting away all the time. Jens Müller has pretty much broken the opposition, but now can start to perhaps build that gap even more and then preserve it into the second part of the race. Down they come through the left, right, left sequence of the chicane Nord onto the Mistral straight, the continuation thereof. Coach McKenzie currently leading the Titanium Cup ahead of Limol and then Vadim Kogai. See them in the background there, the green Lamborghini, the white and yellow Mercedes, the green Ferrari, and the Iron Cup Steve Earle, who had a puncture in the earlier race and therefore a pit stop, lost the potential win. He's leading the Iron Cup at the moment as Coach McKenzie goes through, non-finisher in race 1. So nose to tail, Zwinger, Sultanov, Lucchini, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, as they sprint now up towards the completion of lap number 4. But a very different type of race this than we had earlier on. There's the battle on the 2nd place, but race leader building this gap all the time. Jens Müller, everything that didn't go his way in race 1 seems to have slotted into place early in race 2. Largely the opposition here. Race 1 winner Luigi Lucchini stuck in traffic, not getting very far. Track warning flag for track limits now, going to number 24, which is the car of Danfa Malagamua, and also 333 Vadim Kogai. Leaders go through, the leading gap 5 seconds now. Kogai on his toes, though. He's just done an absolute best in the middle sector. There he is with fellow countryman Denis Romanico right up behind him. The Ferrari keeping the Mercedes at bay. Out of turn 2 they come now. 10 minutes just about done as they sprint down towards the Virage d'Hotel. The 2nd place, Robert Zwinger keeping at bay just Murad Sultanov. Sultanov switches sides, gets up the inside and goes through, going into Saint-Baume, so change of place, up into 2nd goes the Ferrari, and now that he's been released, can Sultanov, who was quickest in qualifying, don't forget, can he go after the race leader? He was only a couple of hundredths quicker than Müller in the qualifying session, but he'll be eager now to try to make amends as Sultanov, having done the absolute best in the 1st sector, moves into 2nd place. Here comes Lucchini to make his move for 3rd place now. If one Ferrari can do it, so can mine, says Lucchini. Job done, through he goes. So you've now got up into 2nd Sultanov, up into 3rd, there number 7 of Luigi Lucchini as the cars hit the Mistral straight once more. In the background, Coach McKenzie still running 5th. Now is he being caught possibly by Lee Mole? Absolute best on the middle sector this time around, Luigi Lucchini. So he's closing on Sultanov in that 3rd place. McKenzie 5th, Mole in 6th, and Kogai 7th. They're the top 3 in the Titanium Cup as they round Toulon now. Sultanov versus Lucchini. Robert Zwinger dropping back a little bit. And there is Lee Mole, the Mercedes, that suffered a little bit of damage early on. It doesn't seem to be affecting it hugely. So Lee Mole running 6th, the former Ginetta racer, raced successfully in British GT for a few years. and now trying something different. He's also raced internationally, did the Le Mans Cup for a couple of seasons. So out of the Virage Dupont he will come. The leader's already up towards the timing line, such is the pace of Jens Rino Müller, and he goes by to put another lap in the book, and as he does so, that now is going to be 5 seconds that he has over Sultanov, who in turn is 8/10 up there. Look on Lucchini, best lap of the race done by Murad Sultanov though, 2 minutes 8.3. That was 7/10 quicker that last lap than the Honda ahead of him. Now that could be that Müller is just driving well within himself, which makes sense so to do, but even so, good effort being offered up by Murad Sultanov, racing here for the first time as he comes then down towards turn 3. There's the leading Honda, there are the Ferraris second and third. So through they turn. Lee Mole dropping back a little from Coach McKenzie, and he's got Vadim Kogai crawling all over the back of him now. Lee Mole goes deep into turn 5, gathers it all up again, and he's just able to block Kogai, but the Mercedes versus the Ferrari, two very different ways here of tackling the how to make the best GT3 car problem. Out of the turn 7 left-hander they go onto the Mistral straight, so you've got the aero-friendly Ferrari, the grunt-and-go Mercedes. Lee Mole trying to break the toe there, moving one side and then the other. Dennis Romanenko's Mercedes dropping back, and an incident is being investigated between Müller and Sultanov. So the two leading cars, an incident at turn 9 being looked at between them. Now, was that when Müller made his move and forced Sultanov out wide? Possibly, and in that mistake delayed Sultanov at the start of the race. There's Mole and Kogai. Lee Mole losing out. Vadim Kogai goes around the outside of him, so the Russian driver goes through, but he goes off the road, and Lee Mole goes back up the inside and retakes that 6th place. Mercedes back up ahead of the Ferrari then. So yes, turn 9 is the chicane, and that's where the incident is being looked at between Jens Müller and Murad Sultanov from earlier on. A drive-through penalty for the race leader for forcing another car off the track. Jens Müller is being given a drive-through penalty for forcing Sultanov off the road. So he made his mistake. Sultanov was the innocent party in all of that, and he's now perhaps going to benefit because Jens Müller will be given a drive-through penalty. He's going to serve it now, I think. Yes, he's in the pit lane. So Jens Müller gets the message, drive-through penalty, in he comes. This is going to make it fascinating now to see, because you lose the best part of 40 seconds, how he will fight back. So Müller, who was away and gone, now the race turned upside down. Sultanov leads, Lucchini will be second, Zwinger will be third, fourth will be McKenzie. Lee Mole will gain a place, Vadim Kogai will gain a place. And down the pit lane goes the Honda. That drive through 39.8 seconds. So the best part of 40 seconds lost by the Honda of Jens Müller. It puts this man, Murad Sultanov, into the lead. Could be on for a first win here as he comes onto the Mistral straight. But what about Luigi Lucchini? That Ferrari in second place, 1.6 seconds back. Robert Zwinger is still there in third place. Coach McKenzie fourth as they make the run up the Mistral once more. Fifth is now going to be Lee Mole, is it? There in the background. Behind him is Kogai. Dennis Romanenko looking a little bit closer now. Romanenko there in the silver Mercedes, inching up onto the back of them, but Kogai wants another go at Lee Mole, doesn't he? He made it almost work last time at Senior, and he's closing again as they come here out of the chicane. So with no pit stops, it's down to your right foot here and how brave you are. Lucchini closing on the leader. Side by side, Kogai again thinks about the outside, can't do it this time, can't really level, so he has to slot back in as they turn now through that right-hander of Senior. Dennis Romanenko coming back at the pair of them. They're delaying each other by squabbling now. Luigi Lucchini catching the race leader, trying to bring down the gap of 1.6 seconds, and Jens Müller still on the attack, and this is why he got the penalty. Look, so he outbrakes Sultanov and goes wide, bounces over the curb. It's Müller's error, but then there's nowhere that Sultanov can go, so he ends up being forced off the road by Jens Müller mid-mistake. That gave Zwinger the lead, and it put, ultimately, Sultanov down into fourth place. Well, he's now in the lead of the race, thanks to some good overtaking, and also the penalty applied to the leading car of Jens Müller. Over the timing line then now comes Murad Sultanov, and the advantage he's got over Luigi Lucchini is 1.8 seconds, and on that last lap through, Sultanov quicker. Robert Zwinger third, Coach McKenzie fourth, leading the Titanium Cup ahead of Lee Mole, then it's Kogai, then it's Romanenko, and then for 8th place now is Mario Cordoni, 9th is Pete Mitchell, 10th in the background is Frederic Fangio. And where is Jens Müller in all of this? He's gone over the timing line, has he now, in 11th place, number 11. There's the Honda. So Jens Müller is 27 seconds off the race lead, and he has got 29 minutes in which to try to do that. Now the fascination begins. How far up the order can he get? How close to the race leader can he get before the end? There's Ken Arbe's Ferrari. That's quite a long way down in this race, in 15th place, ahead of Hardy Woodcock. Then you've got Steve Earle leading in the Iron Cup, ahead of Gerard van der Horst, Rick Lovett, Ben Kleinbach, and Louis-Philippe Cernan here. Cernan almost now able to gain places because he's caught back Kleinbach and will be looking for a way through on this next lap of the race, lap 8. Cernan, remember, had his spin on the opening lap of the race, and he's fought back well. 69, Hardy Woodcock, retired in race 1. The Irish driver coming now through the bottom of the lap after turns 4 and 5. Gerard van der Horst, multiple Lamborghini Cup champion in Super Trofeo Europe, goes onto the Mistral in the Lamborghini there. Look, the blue and white car. So Gerard van der Horst trying something different this year. As you look at the Ferraris then, squabbling as they come up towards senior, with 84, Pete Mitchell there, inching up onto the back of Mario Cordoni, all of them running wide. I think the floppy markers there were annihilated in the earlier GT4 race. 55 also joining the mix, you can see. That is Frederic Fangio with his Ferrari. It still remains a very popular car amongst the gentleman racer. What better to say you race when you walk into the pub than a Ferrari. Out of Bendor they come now, and Sultanov being caught by Lucchini on this lap, quicker in both of the first 2 sectors. So for the lead of the race, the gap should have come down. It has. 11 tenths, fastest lap of the race just done by Lucchini as Fangio goes through. That's Cordoni, that's Mitchell. So 8th and 9th they round. Fangio rounds out the top 10. Murad Sultanov leads the way. 27 minutes of the race still to go, and he's being chased by number 7 Ferrari. Luigi Lucchini hustles on behind him. So Lucchini, winner of race 1. And where is Müller in all of this? He is still in 11th place, 26 seconds behind now, but he's just done the fastest lap of the race. So certainly Jens Müller is all fired up, and he's doing his level best to get into the mix. There is Lee Mole keeping Vadim Kogai at bay. Those two make the run up towards turn 6 now at Saint-Baume. And more Ferrari squabbles rage on behind with, there you can see Ken Arbe looking to try to find a way up through the order. Forgive me, Pete Mitchell trying to find a way past Mario Cordoni. So that's for 8th and 9th places. Frederic Fangio on the back of them. As, again, Kogai thinks about where he can make his move against Lee Mole. He's good on the brakes into the chicane. The Ferrari closing right up there. Lee Mole threads through the chicane, wider than Kogai. Admittedly, he's got 2 wheels up the curb. And now the run up towards senior. As there you have Pete Mitchell keeping the car of Mario Cordoni on its toes. Cordoni ahead, Mitchell is next up, and Frederic Fangio running in 10th place. Now they're going to be caught soon by Jens Müller. There's the race leader. Sultanov to Lucchini, 11/10 at the start of this lap. Jens Müller with the fastest lap of the race. And the Honda still in 11th place, but he won't be long before he's catching the Ferraris that we were looking at a moment ago. Can Lucchini now start to think about making a move for the race lead? Down towards the right-hander they come of the Virage Dupont, up towards the timing line once more. Sultanov comes through. Luigi Lucchini in 2nd spot. Is the gap now under 1 second? If it is, that's going to give hope certainly to Lucchini. In 3rd place is Robert Svinger. 7/10 is the margin now between the top 2. Svinger is 3rd, Coach McKenzie 4th. A little bit in no man's land at the moment because he's not really being caught by Lee Mole, but nor is he catching anybody else. Behind Mole 5th is Kogai in 6th place. 25 minutes of the race to run. The previous sprint race distance, but now we have equal 45-minute races to give the drivers yet more track time. There, 111 goes through. That is the Steve Earle Ferrari in 17th overall, ahead of Rick Lovett in the Iron Cup. Between the pair of them now, Gerard van der Horst in the Lamborghini. Steve Earle looking for a way past Ken Arbe. Steve Earle in the Castle Racing Ferrari, the American who traces his racing way back to the early 1980s. The American, much travelled to come and do these races, but really enjoys himself. Great enthusiast, good character, Steve Earle. And moustache bristling, he comes across the timing line now then, with 24.5 minutes to go, clearing the class lead. But you have to say, given how competitive the series has become this weekend, he's not as high up the overall order as he has often been found. Coming then now out of turn 2, Steve Earle on the tail here, looking to try to make a move against Ken Arbe. Arbe's lost out to Hardy Woodcock, and he might lose out again here. The American driver lines up for a move on the inside at turn 3. There's the track position, he's up the curb, and Steve Earle has done it. Goes through, the former Group C racer then moves through on the inside line, picks up the place. Now the two leading Ferraris, Sultanov and Lucchini, go through almost together, 0.7 of a second being the margin at the start of this 10th lap, and then behind them Robert's Finger being able to match their pace pretty much, and therefore he's staying on the back of them. Last time through it was a slower lap by Sultanov, something different for him, this leading and having to think about what's going on behind and withstand all that pressure for a maiden win. Up towards the timing line they come, but it's pretty much 3 for the lead now. Robert Zwinger is almost back with them. Fourth is Coach Mackenzie in that green Lamborghini. Sultanov through 0.6 to the good this time, that's all. And Vadim Kogai has got himself up past Lee Mole, so the green Ferrari up into 5th now. Lee Mole down to 6th. The leading Ferraris drop down towards turn 3, wriggling their way through that sequence of corners where you can, if you're really bold, overtake. It's not easy, but it is possible. Through they turn. That's Coach Mackenzie in the 17 Lamborghini, run by the Harry Protchik team. Coach Mackenzie, the pseudonymed German, now perhaps coming under attack for his class lead from Vadim Kogai, who, having got past Lee Mole, has certainly gapped him, hasn't he? That gap already a wide one as they go now through the right-hander at Saint-Baume and up towards the Mistral Straight. There are the 3 leaders into the braking zone. Luigi Lucchini has a look on the inside. That, I think, more in hope than in anticipation. It doesn't really unsettle Sultanov, but it shows intent. And so now Luigi Lucchini says, right, I'm going to have a go shortly, and he'll start to move the car around and just try to unsettle Sultanov and see where he can force a mistake out and make life even easier for him. Leaders go through the right-hander of Senior. There, number 7, Luigi Lucchini, out of Toulon onto the power, up towards Bendor now. So Luigi Lucchini a little bit stuck. He is close, but he's not really been able to make a proper bid for the race lead yet, although it does seem that the chicane is where most people are favouring their options. 888 Robert Zwinger there in 3rd place in the Team HB Racing Lamborghini, coming back at the Ferrari. And so right now there, look, you can see Lucchini's just falling away slightly from the leading car as they come down through the Virage du Lac. It's as though now Lucchini's got to do a bit more defending than attacking. So the timing line they come now then. Mackenzie in 4th place, hunting them down, and he needs them all to start squabbling amongst themselves. Jens Müller on the back last time of Frederic Fangio, so it's about time the Honda started to make some progress from its 11th place after the drive-through, the early race leader. So Robert Zwinger goes through in 3rd place. There's Frederic Fangio, and has Jens Müller managed to wriggle past Carl's? Now I think he's got 2 places, hasn't he? By the look of it, he's got past Fangio and also Cordoni there. So Jens Müller is indeed up into 9th place as they come through, and now a drive-through for Vadim Kogai for causing a collision. Vadim Kogai being given a drive-through penalty for causing a collision, and that means that the man that's just got himself up into 5th place is going to have to serve this drive-through, and he'll drop down the order. Kogai was involved in that skirmish at the chicane, remember? So the Ferrari, 5th on the road, soon to have to drive down the pit lane, and that loses you, as we saw, the best part of 40 seconds. As there, through to the lead, and then wide and off the road goes Lucchini. Murad Sultanov gets his lead back. Robert's Finger is delayed in the background, so Lucchini shows intent, shows his nose, gets the lead, but couldn't slow down in time, so he runs wide across the curbing and loses the race lead back to Murad Sultanov. So he's had a go, didn't work, needs to regroup, try again. So Luigi Lucchini down in 2nd spot once more, comes through Senior with now 20 minutes of the race to go. Brakes hard going through Toulon. On the power now, coming out the other side of the corner towards Bendor. Have a look in the background, the 2 Lamborghinis getting themselves together now. That's Coach Mackenzie's car closing on Robert's Finger. So Mackenzie, as the race wears on, getting quicker and quicker, closing all the time. through Virage du Lac. They come, this lap number 12. Coach McKenzie then pressing on, turns towards the sharp right that ends the lap, and then up towards the line. McKenzie leading the Titanium Cup, and he'd like to be on the overall podium for third place if he can. There's the drive-through penalty sign. There's no excuse not to see that. Drivers often say, I can't see the board because the flag was in the way, or I wasn't looking at the starter's gantry anyway. But Vadim Kogai knows he's got the penalty. He's in the pits anyway, in fairness to him. So Vadim Kogai gives up a place to Lee Mole, another one to Romaniaco. And there is the green Ferrari making its way down the pit road. This is the incident, remember. Mole on the inside of Romaniaco. Kogai blasts up the inside, rattles into Mole, who's pushed into Romaniaco. And the net result of all of that is drive-through penalty. So there is Kogai. It's like the walk of shame, isn't it? All the way down the pit lane, all the other teams saying, oh, I know what you did. So there is Murad Sultanov, the race leader, and actually he's shaken off Luigi Lucchini over the last few corners. So the gap when they came over the line was only 1 second. Lucchini needing to have another think about how to unsettle the leading Ferrari here as they come into the braking zone. He's not close enough to attack this time at the chicane. So Sultanov hangs on to the place, turns his way into the chicane, but maybe Lucchini just regrouping, working out where his car is stronger. For third place, Coach McKenzie doing exactly the same thing against Robert Zwinger and thinking about where he can make his move to try to gain track position as well. The Titanium Cup leader, Coach McKenzie, the green Lamborghini there in fourth place. His opposition is Lee Mole, and there are 9 seconds between them. The leading Iron Cup driver is Steve Earle in 16th overall. His opposition, and he's got 2 cars between him and Rick Lovett, with Louis-Philippe Cernan third in the Iron Cup at the moment as we work lap number 13. So Sultanov it is that leads the way. More fun and games here. Gerard van der Horst busy battling with the Ferrari of Rick Lovett, and then Louis-Philippe Cernan tries to get in on the act as well. Rick Lovett, the Canadian driver, will be ahead, will he, as they come onto the Mistral straight? Yes, he is. So Rick Lovett goes through, hangs onto the place in the Castle car. Good to see some of the North Americans in increased numbers coming into the series for this weekend, and hopefully they'll be back for future races. Louis-Philippe Cernan comes up to attack Gerard van der Horst, and the Ferrari goes through on the inside line there. 1 up then for the Ferrari. Remember that Louis-Philippe Cernan is regrouping after he was knocked into a spin early on in the race. So Cernan back onto the Mistral straight. Murad Sultanov leads in a very much Ferrari-dominated race, this. Jens Müller, 8th. Next target for him is Pete Mitchell's Ferrari. That's the Iron Cup leader, Steve Earle, with Rick Lovett in second place, Louis-Philippe Cernan third, and then Ben Kleinbach in fourth. Fastest lap of the race, Jens Müller. Last time around a 2:06. Qualifying for this race, they dropped into the 2:04s, which was done yesterday afternoon, but now up towards the completion of this lap 14 comes Sultanov ahead of Lucchini, and there they are together, and now Lucchini's going to have another go, goes round the outside. He's never going to stop in time for the chicane, and he goes straight on. He's going to have to give the place back. So Luigi Lucchini got a toe, made a move, absolutely no way was he going to make the corner. He didn't even try, and he waits, does he? Yep, gives back the place, does he? Absolutely right. And Murad Sultanov then goes through, but Lucchini's going to get mugged by Zwinger and also there by Coach McKenzie. So has Lucchini got a brake problem? Maybe it was more than just braking late. He pulls to one side, and Luigi Lucchini looks like he has got a problem, so he went straight on and he parks the car. Luigi Lucchini out of the race, briefly the race leader by dint of going straight on. Maybe the pedal went to the floor, that was the problem, and he spooked himself. So Luigi Lucchini gets going again, but possibly only as far as the pit lane. Back into the lead then, Murad Sultanov, Robert Zwinger and Coach McKenzie much, much closer now. That also is about to give another place to Jens Müller, isn't it? As here are the leaders, 15 minutes still to go then, a third of the race remaining as they come up towards the Virage du Pont. Through the right goes McKenzie, up towards the timing line now. So the leaders go through. And the gap between the top two now is 9/10 of a second. Now, could Robert Zwinger come back at Murad Sultanov? McKenzie is there in third place in the green Lamborghini. But all the time, Murad Sultanov is trying to build his advantage. Lee Mole in the background, 4th overall, but he's got a lot of ground to make up before he can think about getting back onto terms with Coach McKenzie. So Murad Sultanov leads this second Blancpain GT Sports Club race of the weekend from Robert Zwinger there in the black Lamborghini. In third place, Coach McKenzie. Lee Mole is fourth, Dennis Romeniko fifth, and Jens Müller up into sixth place now. 18 seconds away from the leader, 14 minutes to go. Jens Müller certainly has the potential to gain ground before the end, but I don't think he's going to get up with the top three. Out now of the chicane comes Robert Zwinger. He's still being given a hard time by Coach McKenzie as they make the run towards the Mistral once again. Race leader Sultanov into the right at Signe. Goes through the corner, 9/10 of a second in hand he had. Louis-Philippe Cernan, who's gained ground over Ken Arbe, who's fallen back into 19th place. Being warned is Cernan about track limit abuse. And Frederic Fangier also being warned about running too wide at certain corners. Turn 7 seems to be one of the problems, onto the Mistral. Turn 9 coming out of the chicane the other. There is Zwinger, who is still only 9/10 back from Sultanov. Lee Mole not really closing in 4th place, but Coach McKenzie, the Titanium Cup leader, in 3rd overall, closing onto the back of Robert Zwinger now. McKenzie pulls out, has a look, slots back in again. Where you get Coach McKenzie from by way of a pseudonym, I couldn't offer you, but that's the name under which the German driver likes to race. It's very much a German thing. If you go to the Nürburgring 24 hours, you'll see plenty of drivers all running under pseudonyms. And Coach McKenzie is the name that he has adopted for his racing. Robert Zwinger, then the Slovakian, fending him off for the moment. There is the Lamborghini of quote, Coach McKenzie, close quote. We've got Jens Müller 6th, having just done another fastest lap of the race. Now he is 17 seconds back from this race leading car, but Murad Sultanov, having been punted out of race 1, effectively having been delayed in race 2, leading now. He's absolutely determined to come through to score a victory as he comes up through turn 6 at Saint-Baume onto the Mistral straight now. 12 minutes to go for the Ferrari leading the way. Hard on the brakes, into the chicane goes Sultanov, turns into the left, into the right, and so with Jens Müller closing on Dennis Romeniko, Coach McKenzie safe in his 3rd place goes through. In the background you see Lee Mole going into the chicane, behind him is Romeniko, and behind the silver Mercedes, look, there's the Honda in 6th place. So Jens Müller, here he is, closing up onto the tail of Dennis Romeniko. There's another place to be gained, maybe 2 more before the end of the race. The Danish driver, after that drive-through penalty early on, comes onto the straight, up now towards Senior, but he's going nicely. Through that fast right-hander, you can see the gap coming down and down all the time here. So, number 11, Jens Müller, out of the long right of Toulon. Accelerates now into the left-hander at Bendor. Sultanov leading by 11/10, that lead margin just creeping up again last time around. But as far as number 11, Jens Müller is concerned, he's on the back of Dennis Romeniko, and he's lining up to have a go. Not through Virage du Lac necessarily, but that will put him alongside on the run down towards Virage du Pont. Yeah, gets the job done, coming into the braking zone, so he's gone through. Jens Müller ahead, and another place gained then. Up towards the timing line he comes. Getting a warning flag to Mario Cordoni now for track limits, as over the line the leaders go, with now 2.5 between Sultanov and Zwinger. Jens Müller 16 seconds back from the leader. He's up into 5th. The next target is Lee Mole. So with 10 minutes to go, Sultanov is leading and getting away from Robert Zwinger, who's now rather busy defending from Coach McKenzie. Here they are for what are 2nd and 3rd places. Lee Mole 4th, some way back now. Leaders once more onto the Mistral straight, down towards the chicane they come. Robert Zwinger has just about got the measure, it seems, of Coach McKenzie, but can he hang on in there for 2nd place at the very end of the race? Through they turn, the 2 Lamborghinis then running together, different teams, HB and HP Racing. HB Racing versus the Harry Prochik team car, and now Coach McKenzie, the closer he gets, the more committed he seems to get, and all of this helping, of course, Murad Sultanov get away up front. Sultanov benefiting from Robert Svinger having to take the slower, more defensive lines. Turning now up through that right-hander of Toulon. And now they're running towards Bendor through that fast left-hander. Coach McKenzie again tries to close up a little bit. Now he hits the brakes and turns into the corner itself, but still hanging on to second ahead of his Svinger. Now Jens Müller versus Lee Mole, 10th taken out in the middle sector and half a second taken out in the first sector. So Jens Müller, I think, might get up past Lee Mole before the end of the race. And now, very committed indeed, is Coach McKenzie, all over the back of Robert Svinger, looking ever more determined to find a way by. The leaders go through, and Murad Sultanov put 17 laps in the book, and he's 2 seconds clear now of anybody else. So with the battle going on behind him, it's looking good for him. Lee Mole has just got over the timing line, still being chased by Jens Müller. That gap is 4 seconds. There are the Lamborghinis still squabbling, and the gap is half a second between the two of them. But Murad Sultanov 2 seconds clear up front, 8 minutes to go. So 22 laps we got in the first race. Luigi Lucchini, incidentally, after he had that moment at the chicane, is still going. I think he did spook himself, simple as that, because he stopped and he restarted, but he didn't just give up the place, did he, the race lead. He gave away second and third and then parked it and had to think about life. So it may have been a braking problem, which he's now cured, or something to do with the throttle sticking open, arguably, but whatever, he's not retired from the race. Luigi Lucchini is still going, albeit rather badly delayed. McKenzie has a look, Svinger brakes late, he's offline, he's off the road, and McKenzie goes through, and then he goes wide because he can't turn into the second part of the chicane. So Coach McKenzie will benefit. Robert Svinger pressured into a mistake. Coach McKenzie goes through, up into second place now, down to third. Robert Svinger falls, and let's see what develops behind, because you've got Lee Mole's Mercedes still being chased by Jens Müller. So here's the replay look. Robert Svinger just missed his braking point, missed the apex, and ran wide, so he's put himself off the road. Coach McKenzie goes through, but then almost seemed reluctant to turn for fear that Robert Svinger might still be alongside him. So McKenzie being overly cautious, you could argue there, giving lots of room. Anyway, it still worked for him because he's ahead of the black Lamborghini. So Coach McKenzie gaining ground late in the race. More Ferrari fights still to be resolved. And there is 51, which is Mario Cordoni going out of senior. Robert Svinger now being warned about track limits at the chicane. Well, it was missing his braking point, really, that did for him on that last lap. 6 minutes of the race still to go, and this Ferrari fight rages on. Luigi Lucchini trying to make amends for his earlier dramas, but Mario Cordoni has been just a little bit subdued this weekend compared to previous rounds of Blancpain GT Sports Club, where he's always been pretty quick. Luigi Lucchini has just done the absolute best in the first sector, so whatever the problem was earlier, it's all seemingly sorted itself out. Steve Earle just comes out of the chicane ahead of Rick Lovett. Now this is for the Iron Cup lead, so a significant battle. The two almost identical Ferraris. Rick Lovett pulls out, has a look, slots back in again. They're run by the same team at Kessel Racing, so the North Americans as one. Through senior they go, 5.5 minutes still on the clock. Wide goes Lovett. That gives Steve Earle a bit more breathing space as he comes into senior and then into Toulon. Through the right-hander now goes the Canadian Rick Lovett. Chases on in pursuit of Steve Earle, who turns his way out of Bendor. And can he score a third-class win of the season? Unlucky with the punctured tyre in race 1. That cost him the chance of a class win. But right now it's looking pretty good for Steve. The Kessel Racing car with 5 minutes to go. Now the leader, Murad Sultanov, ahead of Coach McKenzie by 4.4 seconds. Jens Müller 3.3 seconds back from Lee Mole. And there is Sultanov, who comes out of senior just now, driving well within himself, ticking off the laps, making sure he doesn't put a wheel wrong. He's looking so strong up front, and this would be a perfect way to end the weekend for Murad Sultanov, especially given that he didn't finish the first race. Through comes Coach McKenzie. Robert Svinger still there behind him as they run now up towards Bendor. Behind them is Lee Mole. Can he hang on to his 4th place? Coach McKenzie still looking good, come what may, for a Titanium Cup win. I don't think Robert Svinger's going to be able to fight back against him, in fairness, because that car just does not seem to have quite the same level of pace. Through they turn, 8.88 being Robert Svinger. who had a very, very good run in this race, in fairness to Robert. The best we've seen of him, really, either in Lamborghini Super Trofeo or Sports Club this year, learning all the time, and Coach Mackenzie goes through then. So we've got just over 4 minutes to go as they break the beam. The lead gap nearly 5 seconds now. We had it at 10ths at one point, and there, look through the traffic. Ben Kleinbach goes a lap down. Lee Mole gets up and past him, but in the background, Jens Müller not that far behind him. Into the pit lane has come Pete Mitchell's Ferrari, so that was 9th. Lee Mole, second of those in the Titanium Cup. Jens Müller behind him puts a lap on Kleinbach, and he's hunting down the leading car now. That gap is coming down and down and down. Jens Müller with 3 more minutes pretty much still to go, chases on. Fastest lap of the race was done last time by Jens Müller, perhaps no surprise given how, to coin a phrase, his down is up, 2 minutes 5.7. The fastest lap of the earlier race, Jens Müller, 2 minutes 5.714. He's not quite as quick, but he's certainly the fastest man again on track. In a sense, it's only misfortune that's gone against him this weekend, penalties or spins, but in terms of pure pace, at the moment, there's little to rival the Müller-Honda combination. Vadim Kogai, after his drive-through, by the way, down in 11th place, struggling to make amends for that. There is Coach Mackenzie with Robert Zwinger looking to try to have a go back at him as they come into Toulon this time. We're on lap 20, and a flying lap is a 2 minutes 7, so where is the race leader? He is just going to squeeze 2 more out of this, I think, looking at the clock. So Murad Sultanov, leading by nearly 5 seconds, heads towards Virage Dupont. There at Virage du Lac is Coach Mackenzie. Robert Zwinger still up behind him, and Murad Sultanov is about to come across the timing line, and as he does so, we're going to have how long to go? 2 minutes 5, 2 minutes 4 as he breaks. It's going to be close this for the last lap, actually. So need to see. The timekeepers will quickly assess and work out with the Swiss timing software whether it's going to be the flag this time or whether he is going to be able to just squeeze 1 more lap. There's the answer on the screen. Final lap for the race leader, Murad Sultanov. Virtually timed to perfection, this. So it is now Sultanov, Mackenzie, Zwinger, the top 3, but then Lee Mole and Jens Müller, 4th and 5th. They are almost together now. Jens Müller going after him. 23, Murad Sultanov at Saint-Baume for the last time then, and a maiden victory heading his way. Great result this after a pretty challenging day, but Murad Sultanov probably didn't expect to win when he was down in 4th place, having been run out wide at the chicane early doors, but he's managed to regroup, and the penalty for Jens Müller righting a wrong as well. Müller fighting back as best he can here. A safety car, of course, would have brought him back into the mix, but no such luck. There ahead is the Mercedes of Lee Mole. He's going to get 1 more place, is he? He's up the inside into the chicane. Lee Mole gives him enough room, but only just enough room, and Jens Müller breaks late and goes through and goes off and will wriggle through the chicane. Again, he's all over the curb, so here comes Lee Mole trying to fight back. The Honda is ahead as they come back onto the Mistral straight. Lee Mole's got the inside line for the next corner, which is Senior. Can he go through? It's all about being the last of the late breakers here. Lee Mole on the inside line will have to give way. Will he? No! Bravely, he goes back through on the inside line, forces Jens Müller to give up the corner, and Lee Mole comes out ahead and therefore secures 4th place. Jens Müller gave it everything then at the chicane, but it was not to be. The Honda ran out wide, and Jens Müller down to 5th place. That is the checkered flag is being made ready for Murad Sultanov then, who's going to come through to score a first win in the Blancpain GT Sports Club. Checkered flag at the ready, and Sultanov, there he is in the Castle Racing Ferrari. It's going to be a double for Castle because Steve Earle's Castle Ferrari is on target for a class win as well. But up towards the checkered flag then in race 2 here at Paul Ricard, it's going to be a win for Murad Sultanov, who comes across the line in the Castle Racing Ferrari, with 2nd going the way of Coach Mackenzie, and Robert Zwinger taking 3rd. The 2 Lamborghinis separated by just 0.456 of a second. Lee Mole takes 4th ahead of Jens Müller. Dennis Romanico, a rather lonely 6th ahead of Frederic Fangio, and then 8th Luigi Lucchini after his what are perceived as being brake problems. Mario Cordoni will be 9th and 10th. Crichton Lendudis, the Titanium Cup winner for the 2nd time this year. Coach Mackenzie making it 2-2 between him and Lee Mole, and Steve Earle making it 3-1 over Louis-Philippe Cernan in the Iron Cup, the Titanium Cup for those aged 50 to 59, the Iron Cup for the 60s. So Murad Sultanov is a race winner outside the top 10. Vadim Kogai 11th. Pavel Strukov never really seemed to get going in that race, given that he was quick in race 1. So maybe the car not 100%, but he was way back in 12th, and like I say, never really featured. 13th, Hardy Woodcock from Dylan from Malaga, Steve Earle 15th ahead of Rick Lovett and Louis-Philippe Cernan. Ken Arbe lacking the pace he evinced in race 1, 18th ahead of Gerard van der Horst. Ben Kleinbach was 20th, a lap down, and we lost Pete Mitchell. He pitted a little earlier, but Luigi Lucchini looking as though at one point he was going to be out of the race, 8th. Pretty decent result. Steve Earle still to come through, in fairness, to take the checkered flag and to score his class win, but he's almost home as he comes now up towards the timing line. The orthopaedic surgeon accelerating through the final corner on the lap. The Virage Dupont, the checkered flag is at the ready, and Steve Earle comes through to win for the 3rd time this year in the Blancpain GT Sports Club. So 23, Murad Sultanov scores the race win by 2.9 seconds. And Coach McKenzie 2nd and a class win, with 3rd going the way of Robert Zwinger, 1 better than he went in the first race. Luigi Lucchini, race 1 winner, was 8th. Jens Müller, 2nd in race 2, ended up 5th. Mario Cordoni, who was 3rd in race 1, way back in 9th. And Robert Zwinger, an improver, 4th to 3rd. But very different types of races, very different fortunes for some of the drivers. The pace that was shown early on in the day not being replicated. All down to a good lunch, surely. So Murad Sultanov, a very good job, well done, and he comes through as the race winner. Let's confirm the results. A win for Murad Sultanov from Coach McKenzie, who wins the Titanium Cup, with in 3rd place Robert Zwinger. In other words, it is Ferrari, Lamborghini in the top 3. 4th Mercedes, Lee Mole ahead of the Honda of Jens Müller, and 6th the next Mercedes, that in the hands of Denis Romaniukov. For 7th place, Frederic Fangio. 8th, Luigi Lucchini. 9th going the way of Mario Cordoni, and then to round up the top 10, Crichton Landudis. Vadim Kogai 11th after a drive-through from Pavel Strukov. Further down, Steve Earle 15th, winning the Iron Cup ahead of Louis-Philippe Cernan after his spin, and Rick Lovett losing out to Louis-Philippe Cernan right at the very end. So 2 wins now to Honda, 2 to Ferrari. Jens Müller doing the double at Monza, but 2 different winners in the 2 races here, Luigi Lucchini and Murad Sultanov. Pete Mitchell, the one retirement that we had, but a very happy driver, Murad Sultanov, out of the car. And the Russian driver with the Kessel squad. Kessel Racing, a very experienced, very successful now Ferrari team, celebrating a win. Coach McKenzie 2nd and a class win, and then for 3rd, Robert Zwinger. So the Kessel team goes to assist Murad Sultanov, help to unclip the hands device. Then he can easily get the crash helmet off. So the Russian businessman takes off the helmet, peels off the balaclava, and Murad Sultanov, race winner. Dakota is down there to have a word with our race winner. Murad Sultanov wins at Paul Ricard.
Sorry, my English is not that good.
That's okay. A massive congratulations. Well done. You look so happy with that. And the team behind you are all celebrating.
Thank you, all. Yeah. Yes, man.
Any other thoughts from the team?
Yes, of course.
It was a great race, wasn't it?
It's perfect driving.
Perfect driving from a perfect man. Congratulations. Thank you.
Murad Sultanov, then race winner. And a delighted Kessel Racing team.
Excellent. Very good. Well done, well done, well done.
So Murad Sultanov, after being tapped into a spin in the first race, certainly comes good in race 2. Started on pole position. Wasn't an easy race for him though, that's for sure, because at the start he had to outdrag Jens Müller. Just succeeded in doing that as they went into the first corner. 1 or 2 running out wide, having to fight their way back onto the road. Louis-Philippe Cernan just lost it going through Saint-Baume. Everybody else scattering in avoidance. Jens Müller got the lead, oh so briefly, ran off the road. As he came back on, that forced Sultanov to lift and go off in avoidance. So Robert Zwinger picked up the advantage. And also, because of the delay, Sultanov fell back behind Coach McKenzie. So 4th he was, fought back to get past Robert Zvinga, having also disposed of Mackenzie, and then Jens Müller was given a drive-through penalty for causing that incident, forcing the Ferrari of Sultanov off the road. Luigi Lucchini managed to get the lead by going straight on at the chicane. Then, however, he peeled to one side, briefly had to park and reset, and then get back into the race. So he was in strife. Robert Zvinga got himself in trouble as well, running off the road at the chicane. But a great job done here this weekend by Murad Sultanov, scoring a first win in Blancpain GT Sports Club. Lee Mole was able to fend off Jens Müller, the early leader, who got a drive-through, as we say. But Sultanov for Kessel Racing, scoring a race win. And for Murad Sultanov, his first victory in Blancpain GT Sports Club. The next stop for the championship is going to be at Misano, but it's time to leave Paul Ricard for now, where it's been 2 wins to Ferrari. Luigi Lucchini race 1, Murad Sultanov in race 2. From David Addison, bye for now.